Casserole here. I got a special guest. It's my cousin, Eddie Spagetts.
How you doing there, Gina?
How you doing? Thanks so much for making yourself available. I know it's been a busy day for you. You've been jamming up a storm, I hear, back home. I hear that you figured out how to play some music during the quarantine and now the pandemic. So a lot of people don't know you and your background. So can you just quickly summarize your genius?
Yeah, for sure. Hi there. I'm Eddie Spaghetti. I'm cousin to Gina Casserole here, from born and bred in Chicago, IL. I'm a karaoke host and alley manager down at the Lanes there.
Yeah, my dad hooked you up, because
that's right.
Said, hey, I'm getting a little nutty here and I need to bang away.
That's right. Because family comes first. That's how I was raised, and that's how I plan on raising a family one of these days.
One of these days, I think you got it.
If modern science ever catches up,
you got that Spagetts, gusto. I think you got it. Yeah,
that's very nice. That's very nice to hear, especially again, family coming first.
Yes,
and then also, yes, I've been known to jam occasionally.
Hey, Ruggamaroo! Sorry, I can't.
No, that's all right.
I can't rein him in all the time.
No, he's all right. He's a wild animal. He's got to live. So yeah, here in Chicago is obviously home to a lot of great blues music, and personally, I always found it a little depressing. So I've used this here quarantine time to learn how to play the banjo, and it's going all right. It's like
banjo.
Yeah,
a lot of. Are you at? Do you know the frets and stuff now?
No, I'm pretty much just kind of getting introduced to the instrument first, and we're getting to know each other. How are you? Where are you from originally? That sort of thing. We haven't really gotten into strings and frets and such. In fact, there's no strings on the banjo that I've been playing at all. It makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, is it better than when you were going after the harmonica? Because I remember that was a tough time. You were blowing a lot of wind and not a lot of sound.
Yeah. Well, I do come from the Windy City after all. That's a little joke I made up.
That's true.
No problem.
That's right. You always got it. You always got to bring the windy into it, man. Not many people get it. They go, oh, it's a windy day. I'm like, you go ahead and you walk near Willis Tower. And then, I've adapted. I'm trying to, be PC. Sure. But, Sears Tower. Right. You walk past that thing. Oh, boy. You're toast, You are just... I'm so sorry. I'm super hungry. I had to have waffles, but
no, that's all right. Once upon a time, I might have taken an exception to that sort of thing, but I am, as you are, we're both trying to be.
If we were both together, I would have offered you part of my Eggos. You know what I mean?
I very much appreciate that. Yes, thank you.
Yeah. So, not many people know, because they're not necessarily a musician as multifaceted as you. You have a certain drive and hunger that most people, they never will ever have. Where do you think that comes from for you?
Well, I like to think it's, something I was born with, but I met
your family. You're the only one, man.
Well, that's very nice. I think it might be
courage, because everyone told me I couldn't do it out here in LA. And now look at me. I'm out here through the whole pandemic. I moved up north to go pick some weed because that's what my ex, the ex guy, we're not going to go into that, here and there. But you always were telling me, you got to do it. We got one shot at this thing. So
that's right. And now look, you've got your name on a coffee mug. If that doesn't spell
I know. I mean, who'd have
don't know what does.
Who'd have thunk?
That's right.
I wouldn't have thunk it.
I wouldn't thunk it either, I don't think. But I mean, then again, thinking is not my, wheelhouse exactly.
See, this is the thing that I don't always get about you, okay, is that you don't always understand your powers. And if your power of thinking bad about yourself, why would anyone think good things about you if you were always telling them how bad you are, That's
very true. That's very true. Well, in a similar way to yourself, when ask questions like who'd have thunk it, I want to say, well, Gina Casserole would have thunk it. That's who, and that's the most important thing.
Spagetts, you're on top of it today.
Well, I got a couple years on you. That's all. It's really all that is there.
A couple years, but It doesn't matter about the time. It's how well you live your life, you know?
That's right.
And you are just a vast depth pool. Like like I'm on a shallow end and you're in the deep end. You know what I mean?
I don't know if I agree with that assessment exactly, but you know, if I'm being 100% honest, I'm gonna have to go ahead and give it up to my mentor. That would be none other than Emmy-winning actor Dennis Franz. He's always been a shining light for me at the end of this tunnel. And even though I still have all my hair, I look forward to following in his footsteps further.
Well, I know you got the same kind of butt as him, huh? Because he likes to show off the tush.
I had to work very hard to get a tush like that, but yes, it was well worth it.
Can you tell everybody, because not everybody knows how well Dennis Franz has impacted your life. Can you tell me what was the moment where you're like, Dennis Franz, you know?
Yes, I can tell you exactly where I was. It was in the year 2002, picture it.
Oh, okay.
And I had just purchased my first Netflix membership.
That's right. I was still a big Blockbuster fan. I was like, that's not gonna work.
That's right. I'm very much for futuristic technologies, and so when this digital video disc via the U.S. mail system was introduced, I said, Eddie Spagetts wants a piece of that.
About the laser disc because I saw Rob Zombie on Cribs, and he's like, look how many I got. He had like 200 laser discs, and I was like, I gotta get laser discs, and you were like, no, don't do that. And I was like, technology that's what Rob Zombie did.
And I said to you, but look at his haircut. You're gonna listen to this guy.
But I mean, I don't mean to disdain. He had like no one was doing what he was doing. He was an outlier. You know what I mean?
That's very true.
He was an outlier.
I've always pronounced it outlier, but what do I know? I don't even know. I don't know that I've ever heard that word said out loud. Excuse me. Got a little something in my throat there. Yeah. So, what's that?
When you smile, I smile.
I'll do my best. So,
I'm sorry.
No, it's all right. By all means. All right. So I got the Netflix there, right? And I rented the 1982 Brian De Palma film, Body Double, which of course.
You watched the Body Double?
Oh, I watched the film Body Double from 1982, directed by Brian De Palma. There, that's a pretty good flick.
He's a good one. He did the Scarface and stuff.
That's right. Yes, very well known for that. And then in a small role as sort of a slimy photographer type, you got this guy with the wife beater and the hairy shoulders, and I said, "Who's this hunk of man? This is the sort of fella that I want to pattern myself after."
Because he talks straight to you, you know.
That's right. He's a straight shooter. That guy.
You know about the hullaboop.
That's right. No hullaboop, no muggamoo, no gobbledygook. None of that there.
None of that.
We don't go into that sort of thing in the Midwest.
I do the Franz.
Right, exactly, right. So that was my entree, as it were. And then, fortunately, NYPD Blue at the time was in reruns 9 times a day. So I got to catch up on that excellent. It takes place in an inferior city, obviously, but it's still a very good program.
Yeah, it's the dirty Chicago.
That's right. It's good, it's good for them that they get some.
Take the trash out. Let's go ahead and just have it everywhere. Right. Have big rats. We're gonna do it. Rug-a-maroo.
Oh, that dog.
Rugs. He's nutty today. He's nutty. Today is a nutty day. Because you're my spiritual guide. A lot of
very. Thank you.
That's why I wanted you here. So I went and I got my laundry today, and I was a little late because I was journaling. Because I'm trying to embrace the lightness and in figuring out what to do from point A to point
Very
B.
important.
To Z, and then do it again, but make it double A. You know what I mean?
Correct.
And so I'm doing my journals. I get late to get to my laundry, and it's all on top of the dryers. And I'm like, all right, I guess I'm late. But you know what? It's like the rock in my shoe. When I lose a sock, I'm missing a sock and the dryer was occupied. It's just like, what do I,
and then you got a rock in your shoe on top of not having a sock on that foot. It's a whole thing.
It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. And it's like, what do I got to do? Buy Birkenstocks or something?
Heaven forbid. I mean, I know you're out in Los Angeles there, but let's not, you don't want to go native that much. No, I know what you mean. I got to tell you, I had the same problem with my downstairs neighbor once. I was in the basement. I was doing my laundry there. And then I came back upstairs and I was on a phone call or some other thing. Who knows? And then I come back downstairs. The guy's taking my clothes out of the dryer. I said, "What are you doing there?" And then I took a breath because you always want to take a breath before you get into a confrontation.
That is key. That is essential because then you can reassess what you're doing, how you're doing, get your body in tune. I've been listening to the yogas.
Well, I mean, I did get my body. I took a breath and I got in tune, but then I ended up punching the guy in the face. Now, the thing of it is, I do regret that in hindsight. But I also
a 65-year-old that punches his way to get to places. You can't do that all the time, bro.
Well, that's why I'm working on it, But it's
valid.
It's a similar thing to yourself because I have to wear I don't like to talk about this outside of the family, but I have to wear a special kind of underpants. It's part of my work release. I can't really talk about
the fuzzy balls thing.
Right, I can't really talk about it because of
Dennis Franz. He had it too, I heard.
Well, that's what I'm taking solace in that.
Because I drive Lyft once in a while.
Sure.
Somebody said that I got a fuzzy ball. I said it was the crabs. And I was like, no, it's fuzzy balls. Dennis Franz had it. It's a whole thing.
So you met a guy who also has this condition. How's he doing?
People disclose a lot of things, They disclose a lot.
Boy, I'll tell you what, it's like taxi cab confessions in there, except it's your own car.
Yeah. So what are you doing for monies these days besides I know you're working for my pops, but you always have a side business, side hustle.
That's true. I'm working down. I'm learning the banjo.
How are you doing with like all this creativity? Like you must be redirecting it to different parts of your brain or people or
that's right.
What are you doing? You cooking or you're looking pretty good. You look like you've trimmed down like a good 20, 40 pounds.
Well, because my cousin's got the bowling ball diet there, said I'm gonna give that a try. It's gotta be in the family. And yes, I've lost 500 pounds in the last week alone. It was really
No.
No, yeah, it's
not 500. You were never that big. I mean, come on.
Well, it's very sweet of you to say, but
you definitely I'm surprised you're not saying I'm a little offended because as you know, the bowling ball diet is not about measuring yourself by pounds. It's by measuring yourself by bowling ball sizes. So
I misspoke there. I meant to say that I lost 50 bowling balls worth of weight over the course of the last week.
Not an accurate assessment. So you lost like 2 child-size 4-pounders.
Yep. Right? Sure. And the pink ones. Yeah.
Then you lost 7-pounder, 10-pounder. It's pretty impressive. See, isn't it a good way to redirect your brain so then you don't have the pressure? You're like, you know what? It wasn't as good of a week this week. So, are you using the vegan cheeses I sent you?
I am using those. I do have to plug up my nose before I do it, but they are, you can mostly choke them down. It's not too bad.
Yeah. You like the cashew a lot, huh?
Say that again?
The cashew.
Who doesn't like a nice cashew? I never thought I'd be eating a cheese made out of a cashew, but here we are in this.
Vegan brands,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that you seem like you've gotten into the vegan food there. Is that a California thing?
There was so much shortages, and like people were like going everywhere. I was like, well, this is the time to try stuff. The government's giving me a little extra cash, so I can go ahead and try what it's like to be at the Trader Joe's.
Well, if you ever run across a nice vegan kielbasa, please let me know. Because obviously that would be more in line with my interests.
Yeah. I think that would be. I think, you are the sausage king.
Oh, thank you. I'm no Abe Froman, but I do all right. You know what I'm saying?
You do all right.
I do okay for myself.
Yeah. So what is your general philosophy on life right now? Is it changed since the pandemic?
You know, I find actually it hasn't changed too much since the pandemic. Because before the pandemic, my whole philosophy was, hey, and now that we're in the midst of this pandemic, it's more like, hey. So you see, it's not entirely different. There's some subtleties there. There's a lot of gray areas, a lot of variations and
Yeah.
shades,
I mean,
etc.
it's just you're changing the wavelength, the way you
Right.
say things. It embodies the energy differently, you know?
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
I am also trying to quit smoking, which is why I'm just holding on to this.
You know, hey, you know, I mean, I know growing up, it was tough because you were the kid you were like Linus. That was your nickname. You always had the blanket with you, the pacifier.
Yep, I was in love with a small girl named Sally with weird hair. It was right down to the bones. Yeah,
Right
I
down
remember.
to the bone, to the nitty gritty. So I'm glad that you got the hate philosophy down. Is there anything that's been inspiring you lately? Anything that, like, where do you gravitate to when you go to the socials?
Well, you know, oh, excuse me there. I got a little choked up. It's getting very emotional.
I knew you were all right. That's why I didn't say nothing.
I very much appreciate that. Well, I can always find some solace when I think about things that make me happy. You know, the world champion Chicago Cubs, for example, the music of Jim Belushi. There's all sorts of things. Pizza, obviously, I shouldn't even need to say that. My doctor tries to tell me I'm lactose intolerant. I said, hey, yeah, it was the vegan cheese.
Yeah, the vegan.
Sorry if my accent keeps slipping.
It's not too bad. There's a couple spots out here. It ain't too bad.
Oh yeah, if I'm coming out there to visit, where are you gonna take me for a bite?
There's a place called Pizza in your face.
In your face? That's part of the name of it?
Well, that's part of the logo, the motto. I mean, I can't say it the way the locals say it, because it's
sure.
I ain't joking. It ain't the real thing, you know?
They do talk very weird out there in La La Land.
Yeah, but I think you will like it, you know? There's so many cool, creative, and inspiring and entrepreneurial and Silicon Valley types out here, you know?
Oh, I thought that was further north there. Is that more?
Well, they got this thing called Silicon Beach. They're moving down over here. They're moving to downtown LA, DTLA. And what they do is when they go to the DTLA is they buy all these buildings and it's like so much it's so cheap. But now, I mean, with the work from home situation, it might be a little different. But yeah, they're on the cusp of things a lot, these people.
Oh, it sounds like it there. I'd much rather go to a beach than a valley myself, personally.
Yeah.
But that's, that's just me.
Who would have thought all these nerds would be like the ones in power? Like, the nerds were just doctors when we were growing up.
You know, we really should have paid more attention to that Revenge of the Nerds movie when that came out. Instead of just enjoying it for the laughter it brought us. Perhaps we should have learned a lesson.
Because, people, back in the alley days when I was working with you.
Oh, yeah.
You would see everybody and they would be like, yo, Spagetts, casserole. Yep. And we were like, yeah, we know who we are, but people, the arcade from the 80s and the 90s, it was just dwindling and dwindling. And I think with Barcades being a thing, I've been trying to tell my dad, I was like, Pops, start doing this Barcade thing,
We've been talking to him about it too a lot. He's very stuck in his ways, and we're saying, Pops, but this isn't new. I don't want this new. It's not new, is it? It's the old thing, and that's what's new is now is the old. You take the old, you bring it to the new, and then it's new, and then you put the new with the old, and then it's a whole thing. And that equals profits.
It's like, do you have a martini or even 30 martini? It's just a little different.
It's a little bit different because people don't want a lot of difference. They just want a little bit of it.
They want to feel a new sensation, but it's the same thing.
It's new, but it's comforting. This martini is entirely too clean. I hear you. We've had clean martinis for decades, generations. Let's dirty this up a little bit. That's all it takes. That's all it takes.
Outside of Bloody Marys, What do you put olives in for your drinks, huh? It's no lime, it's no lemon.
Right. What are we making, a fruit salad here? That's a joke I made.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I don't put even mangoes in my water. What do you mean, like, we put olives in the water?
Right. I don't understand. If you want a piece of fruit, have a piece of fruit. I'm not going to stand in your way. You want to have a glass of water? Have a glass of water. You're going to put them together. All right.
Yeah.
Maybe it's,
at one point in time, a dirty martini, that was up in it. That was leveling up. Because you didn't get that at the farmers markets off of Taylor Street. You didn't get that then.
That's right.
Oh, man. I remember talking another idea I had from my dad back in the day. I was like, Pops, I like cereal. I bet we could do a buffet style cereal. And he was like, who's going to do that? We're not in Las Vegas. We're a bowling alley. Gina, get it together. And you were like, that's a great idea. I can eat breakfast anytime, day or night. And the thing is, the product don't go bad.
When you sit there and you think about it, you think to yourself, well, what do people enjoy? They enjoy a nice night at the lanes, obviously. Well, what else do they enjoy? A nice cold bowl of cereal. Well, I don't see how it would be, logistically speaking. I'm just the idea guy here, but we could absolutely.
All you need to do is make sure you get the milk.
It's got to be ice cold. It's got to be almost frozen. I want a sludgy milk almost.
Put in a White Russian. I mean, it's not a big deal.
That's right. We already got milk in the joint. You know what I mean? And how hard we run down to the A&P. We get some cereals. We get your Kicks, your Cocoa Puffs, your Fruity Pebbles, whatever the kids want, or the adults. Because that's the other thing this is all about, is the adults acting like children.
Right?
No one has ever gone broke treating adults like children, and I will swear by that.
That's what we need to do, and we need to do it more. I gotta tell you, Eds, this has been great. I missed with such frequency. I just do you have any advice for anybody that is like you, a super multifaceted, well-rounded, very empathetic, and careful with your words for the most part. Do you have any advice for people?
I do. I have two small pieces of advice. One is when you're rolling, you don't want to do this spin ball thing. That's going out. You want a nice straight hook. You don't want to, or with a you don't want this spinning stuff. Also, when in doubt, sit back and watch season 1 of NYPD Blue, starring the inimitable Dennis Franz. Groundbreaking television.
It wasn't like
33 swear words per episode. Excuse me.
No, it's I'm still learning how to do the interview thing, because like when we talk.
Oh, you're doing great.
I appreciate this. Because my goal is to be not just a regular social influencer, but I want to go to the ultimate level you can go as an influencer.
Right. You're going to be the Sears Tower of influencers, Gina, I'm telling you.
I mean, the skyscraper ain't my limit, you know what I mean?
That's right, absolutely.
It's just my jumping off point,
That's right. It's the top floor for most, it's the ground floor for Gina Casserole.
That's right. I just wanted to say, you're just such an inspiration to me. You keep me motivated. You're always challenging yourself to have newer brain cells activated. So
right.
I just want to let you know, like I couldn't think about having somebody on here for my you're the first family member here, and I'm just so honored to have you and your time. And I just wish nothing but the best for you.
Thank you. The honor is truly mine. My heart is very warmed by your words, Gina. And of course, it was more than my pleasure to be here on the Bowling Ball Diet podcast.
Thank you. And I want to thank you, my fans, because I got a couple of them. I got like 5 YouTube views already. So I'm rolling, good. Like watch out.
You're halfway to double digits there.
Yeah, you can't hold me back. You can't close down my lanes because I'll find a new lane. You know what I mean?
That's right.
Anyways, audience, I just want to thank you for joining me, Gina Casserole, in the Bowling Ball Diet Podcast. podcast. Stay blessed.